Hola mis amores, welcome back to another episode of How to Build a House. I'm Roxie Garmendia and we are out here with
Bobby Williams with Wolfpack Builders.
There you go. On last episode, we talked about how to choose a lot. On today's episode, we're gonna talk about how to start the process on designing the home for that lot.
There you go. So we did talk about a lot last time. A lot about a lot. So the land dictates what kind of foundation you're going to use, whether it be a slab or a crawl space or a basement behind us. So when you're jumping in to make a big decision, one of the biggest decisions of your life, you obviously want to talk to a professional, Roxie in the real estate or me as a builder or us together, but you try to narrow down the location, where you want to be. But as a whole, as a collective, you start talking about, do I want a foundation crawl space? What does that look like? So you need to hook up with a surveyor who can plot that design on that piece of land to make sure you're meeting all the setback requirements and other architectural features that are the architectural committee or the zoning. They'll tell you what you can and can't do. So a surveyor is going to help you with that. An architect's going to help you with that. And then after you get your architectural design, you need to hand it over to an engineer. Okay, so we've established that we have a piece of property. Now you as the professional, me as the professional, we have to lead our clients to the best and highest use for that piece of property. So we have tools in our toolbox that we need to establish: a surveyor, probably a lawyer, an architect, an engineer. And again, you have to be patient during this process because this is not necessarily the due diligence portion, but you have to do due diligence to make sure your design is proper for that lot, that the zoning will allow that feature on that lot. So as professionals, we suggest an architect and you draw your house plans based on that slab, crawl space, basement. And that's going to take some time because, you know, again, we talked about perking a 4-bedroom versus a 5-bedroom. So the architect's going to have to take your wish list and incorporate it. And he has to start somewhere. He's not a mind reader. So it's going to take a couple revisions to get your architectural process nailed down. Then you give it to the engineer that can design all your loads, your thickened slabs, your beams, your headers.
Can you tell us like how long will that take approximately?
Well, once you
It's hard to say it.
It is kind of hard to say because in Charlotte we're very, very busy. So I would say that the architect's probably 8 to 12 weeks on designing a house.
Okay.
Once,
people gotta be patient.
Gotta have to be patient up front. Once we break ground, then I can control that except for the weather.
Yeah.
That's usually 8 to 12 months. But getting everything ready up front, please allow time for that because that's so important to kind of think of all the mistakes out loud and make the mistakes on paper before they make the mistakes in the field, which are quite costly. So let's just say 8 to 12 weeks for the architect. Once you get that nailed down, then we pass it over to the engineer, like I said, so he can establish all your load points, your thickened slabs, your retaining walls, your roof loads, whatever. And then you have to take that to the surveyor to establish a plot plan. He'll position that house design on that piece of property so we can dig the footers. But backing up before that, we have to get a permit. And that's also 3-4 weeks at the municipality.
Yeah.
If it's Mecklenburg, it's going to take longer. If it's another county around North Carolina, it won't take as long because they're not as busy. So it's kind of some ebb and flow, but you can't rush that process because we don't have control of those subcontractors. Once we get to the field, we can kind of dictate more of the schedule, but you have to allow time to do the design, the engineering, get the quotes, submit it for permit, and then we can start.
That's great information. Thank you for sharing. What has been a very major mistake that you have seen in the field, whether it's architect or engineering, something that you have seen that people might see in the when they're in the process?
Well, I honestly say patience. You have to designate that amount of time to go through the proper channels so you're not forcing something, and that's when mistakes happen. Like if you want a 2-car versus a 3-car and nobody catches that mistake, or the surveyor actually gets the house in the wrong position. It's supposed to be garage left and it turns out to be garage right. Now that's on the builder to help figure that out, but we're working together, not as opposition.
Yeah,
so all eyes involved. But if you honestly could just take time to sort all that out. So if you're going to relocate from out of town, I want people to understand, designate that. Don't just jump into something because that's where money's going to get lost. Senseless dollars over mistakes where you're not taking your time and trying to figure it out with the proper professionals. So I don't know really any particular mistake other than trying to rush the process.
Yeah, now that you say rushing the process and being patient, how long would the whole process take from start, like choosing the lot, until, you know, they open the door and the house is now theirs?
I mean, I would at least give it 12 to 14 months because it's probably going to take a month or two just to find a piece of property.
Yeah.
Then about a month for the architect, then another couple weeks for the engineer, and another couple weeks for the surveyor and the permit process. But once we actually get the permit in hand, we're surveyed and ready to start digging footers. That's probably an 8 to 10 month process. But I would give it about 2 months to shop around for a piece of property. So as you can see in this neighborhood, there's a wide variety of houses, different foundation types. You have slabs, you have crawl spaces, and you have basements. But as you see right here behind us, this is a good example of somebody who's getting ready to start their house. And this is probably going to be a high crawl space or a basement.
All right, so for our last question, how hard is it to get the permits?
Well, honestly, if you do all those steps we talked about, choose a lot wisely with your professional realtor, talk to an architect or designer, engineer, and a surveyor. This process is easy. Once you submit all those documents to the municipality, it should flow pretty quick because they're not going to keep asking you stuff. You're going to be prepared, and that's going to be a smooth flow into your building process, which this lot is getting ready to start. All they have to do is stake for footer and start digging. This one's ready to go.
All right, and do you have to submit all papers together, or it can be one at a time?
It's easier to do it all together, upload everything, your architectural plans, which are A pages, your S pages, which is your structural, your plot plan showing where you're going to be inside of those setbacks, etc. And then you're going to go into the red line process with the county, and it shouldn't take too long.
Perfect. So now, guys, you already know a few steps that you guys gotta take if your dream is to build a home, and we'll see each other on the next one.
Adios, mis amores. Is that good?